What if I told you that everything you believe about death is a lie? Imagine an ancient hidden text that doesn't just talk about the afterlife, but claims to map out exactly what happens the moment you draw your last breath. A text so profound it guides you through the realms beyond. But there's a catch. Miss even a single step on this journey and you risk being trapped forever. Today you're about to unlock the secrets of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a sacred guide crafted over 1,000 years ago. This ancient text was written to take us to the edge of existence and back, revealing knowledge that could change everything you know about life, death, and what lies beyond. But once you dive into this, there's no turning back. Are you ready to confront the ultimate truth? Despite all our advancements in technology and science, one question remains elusive. What happens after we die? The truth is, we're no closer to understanding it than the people of ancient Tibet. And maybe that's why this book still holds such power. It dares to answer life's biggest mystery. For centuries, it's captivated the minds of monks, mystics, and even scientists because of its revolutionary claim. Consciousness doesn't end when the body dies. Instead, it embarks on a journey through unseen realms, with each stage offering profound possibilities for liberation or rebirth. Here's where it gets even stranger. These ancient descriptions of the afterlife eerily match modern accounts of near-death experiences. Many who've come back from clinical death describe a brilliant light, encounters with spiritual beings, and a sense of profound peace. Could this really be a coincidence, or are we glimpsing something fundamental about consciousness itself? Think of the staggering implications. What if these teachings could unlock insights into our awareness, the very essence of who we are? What if understanding this ancient text could reveal truths about our own minds, shaping how we live and perceive reality in ways we never imagined? By bridging the wisdom of ancient spirituality with today's explorations of consciousness, we stand on the edge of something transformative. But here's the real twist. The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just about death. It's also about life. By confronting death, we're reminded that everything is temporary, challenging us to live with purpose, clarity, and compassion. It's not merely a guide for the dying, it's a wake-up call for the living. As you listen, you might feel both awe and fear. That's exactly the response it was meant to provoke. So keep an open mind as we dive into this ancient wisdom, and prepare to meet the visionary master who brought it to the world. What if the Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just a map for the dying, but a roadmap for all of life's transitions? At the heart of this teaching lies the concept of the Bardo. In Tibetan Buddhism, a Bardo isn't only the state between death and rebirth. It's any transitional phase where the familiar dissolves, opening a doorway to profound transformation. Consider how many times in life you found yourself suspended between what was and what's yet to come. Those moments of uncertainty and change, they're all mini Bardos. But the Tibetan Book of the Dead, also known as the Bardo Thodol, reveals 3 main Bardos, each representing a crucial stage in consciousness, offering challenges and opportunities for growth. Are you ready to explore these hidden realms? The first is the initial Bardo, the moment of death itself. But don't think of it as an ending. Imagine it as a flash of pure consciousness, revealing the deepest truths of existence. Then comes the second Bardo, the Bardo of Visions, where you encounter visions both peaceful and terrifying in a divine dance. But here's the twist. These aren't external forces. We'll come back to that. Finally, there's the third Bardo, the threshold of rebirth, where consciousness, stripped of the physical, stands on the edge of new life. Every thought and desire shapes your next incarnation. And here's the revolutionary truth. You don't have to wait until death to experience the Bardos. Every day holds these transitions, each an opportunity for spiritual awakening. When you feel disoriented upon waking from a dream, you're touching a mini-death. In those moments of pure creative flow, you're glimpsing the Bardo of Visions. And every time you face a life-altering choice, you're experiencing your own Bardo of Rebirth. As we stand on the edge of this ancient wisdom, we're about to enter the first Bardo, the moment of death, where the ultimate opportunity for liberation awaits. Imagine stepping into a brilliant light so blinding It feels as if it contains the very essence of the universe. Ancient texts call this the clear light, a radiant force that Tibetan wisdom holds as the purest essence of mind itself. This isn't a comforting illusion or a mere hallucination. It's the ultimate reality, revealing the world as it truly is, stripped of all illusions. Here's where the stakes are at their highest. If in that pivotal moment, you can recognize this light as your own true essence, your awareness, you can achieve instant liberation. Imagine the possibility of breaking free from the endless cycle of life and death, reaching a state of absolute freedom. But this moment, as powerful as it is, fades as quickly as it appears, often slipping away like a forgotten dream. For those unprepared, this blinding light can seem overwhelming, even terrifying. Instead of embracing it as their own essence, they perceive it as a foreign, intimidating force. Driven by fear, their consciousness retreats, moving deeper into the Bardos, away from enlightenment and toward rebirth. Tibetan wisdom reveals a hidden truth in this teaching. In the final instant of life, you are presented with the most powerful opportunity to achieve enlightenment. A moment so profound that even the most advanced practitioners dedicate their lives to preparing for it. But what if this experience wasn't something you had to wait for until death? According to Tibetan masters, through deep meditation and spiritual practice, glimpses of the clear light can be encountered during life itself. These rare moments of transcendence serve as training sessions, preparing you to face that ultimate moment of truth with clarity and strength. In this stage, the second Bardo, known as the Bardo of Visions, your own mind projects breathtaking, surreal forms, both beautiful and terrifying. You step into what feels like a divine theater, surrounded by radiant deities and monstrous figures of unimaginable power. Here's the twist. These beings aren't separate entities. They are reflections of your own mind, your hidden fears, unhealed wounds, and secret desires, all magnified. The Bardo of Visions doesn't just expose you to fantastical imagery, it holds up a mirror to your own soul. Each peaceful deity represents your most enlightened qualities, while every wrathful figure embodies the aspects of yourself you feared or denied. Picture standing among luminous beings radiating compassion and wisdom, like the Buddha of infinite light, embodying the potential for pure awareness. But can you recognize them as reflections of your true self? If you can, liberation awaits. Yet, for most, the experience is too intense. Unprepared to accept this brilliance, the mind recoils, and the peaceful faces transform into fierce, wrathful spirits. Now you find yourself surrounded by beings with blazing eyes and fiery countenances. These terrifying figures aren't enemies. They are manifestations of the unresolved within you: anger, fear, envy, attachment. Each is there not to punish, but to force you to confront what lies within. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that these spirits are shadows cast by your own consciousness, amplifying what you carry deep inside. They present a chance to face and transcend your accumulated karmic baggage, but only if you meet them with awareness. This Bardo isn't just for the afterlife, it's a reflection of what we carry in life. Each of these visions mirrors what lives within us now, shaping our choices, influencing our actions. Psychologist Carl Jung saw these deities as archetypes within our collective unconscious, universal figures that reveal the forces shaping our psyche. Jung's insight reminds us that these gods and demons aren't only for the dead. They represent powerful aspects of our daily consciousness, waiting to be understood. The Bardo of Visions is a call to face every part of ourselves. Can you look at the darkest parts of your mind and see them with compassion? Can you confront your fears, anger, and insecurities without letting them control you? This is the path to liberation. Recognizing that all these forces are reflections of your mind, pieces of who you are. But be warned, confronting these truths is no easy task. For those unable to recognize these beings as projections of their own mind, the experience can become terrifying. The mind, unable to comprehend its own nature, becomes ensnared within its creations, mistaking these reflections for external threats. It's like being trapped in a nightmare of your own making. And this is where the stakes escalate. You've entered the Bardo of Rebirth, the third stage in the journey beyond death. Here, every thought, unresolved emotion, and karmic imprint becomes the driving force that determines your next life. Your consciousness, stripped bare, now acts as a magnet, attracting the elements that will shape your future existence. In this realm, the stakes are monumental. The next chapter of your soul's journey is about to be written, and it's written by the essence of who you are. This isn't a passive drift through the afterlife, it's an intense, chaotic process of creation. Every choice, every desire, every hidden fear you've carried now rises to the surface, generating the reality that awaits you. In the Bardo of Rebirth, there are no filters, no escape. You are both the painter and the canvas, crafting the blueprint for your rebirth. Picture yourself surrounded by a swirl of visions, faces, landscapes, entire worlds, all potential paths for your soul. These aren't random images, they're the summation of your inner state. If you've cultivated kindness, self-awareness, and wisdom, the visions may appear bright and inviting, leading toward a life of opportunity. But if fear, anger, or attachment dominate, the visions darken, growing more tumultuous. Each potential rebirth tugs at you, pulling on the invisible threads of karma, aligning with the life you're most connected to. This isn't a test imposed by some outside force, it's a mirror of your mind, reflecting the culmination of your actions, intentions, and desires. And here's where it intensifies. The choices you make in this bardo, the mental states you cling to, directly influence your rebirth. Your mind becomes a divine compass, aligning with the realm that resonates most with your state. Imagine this swirling vortex of emotions and memories, pulling you toward one life or another. Can you find clarity amid the chaos, guiding you toward liberation rather than entrapment? Or will you be swept away by your own unresolved karma, bound for yet another cycle of birth and death? Now consider this. The visions in the Bardo of Rebirth aren't just distant images, they are doorways, portals into realms that echo the energy of your mind. Each vision reflects the intensity of the emotions you carried through life, the fears, attachments, and aspirations left unresolved. It's as though you're watching a reel of your possible futures, each scene a reflection of the karma you bear. At the heart of each doorway lies a question. Will you step through, or will you pull back, seeing the path with clarity and intention? But this bardo holds a subtle trap. You don't choose your next life in the way you might select a new pair of shoes. Instead, your accumulated karma, every action, thought, and intention, acts like a gravitational force, guiding you toward the life that aligns with your soul's frequency. And yet, even here, a glimmer of choice remains. If you can maintain clarity, a calm awareness, you might still influence the outcome. If you can remain detached, recognizing that each vision is a product of your mind, you might transcend the pull entirely. In Tibetan Buddhism, this isn't merely an afterlife belief. It's a reminder that our actions here and now shape our future. Imagine that every act of kindness, every moment of mindfulness is shaping not only this life, but countless lives to come. The Bardo of Rebirth forces us to confront a profound truth. We are continuously creating the karma that guides our soul's journey. Our lives are interconnected. Each decision ripples forward, influencing not just today, but eternity. But here's the crucial question. If you're caught in patterns of fear, anger, or attachment, how do you break free? Picture the scene in a Tibetan monastery. As someone approaches death, a lama, a spiritual guide who has spent years mastering these teachings, sits beside them. The Lama reads from the Bardo Thodo, describing in vivid detail the stages the soul will encounter after leaving the body. These words aren't just soothing whispers, they're a precise orientation for the soul, guiding it through realms most of us can only imagine. This tradition takes end-of-life care to an entirely different dimension, treating death not as a tragedy but as the most profound transition of all. Contrast this approach with what we often see in modern settings, where death is typically met with fear or avoidance, managed clinically and rarely spoken about openly. In Tibetan Buddhism, however, death is a meticulously prepared journey. The Bardo Thodol acts as a spiritual compass, helping the soul navigate through visions of radiant lights, serene deities, and fierce demons, all intense projections that arise in the afterlife. Here's the incredible twist. These visions aren't external beings or otherworldly punishments, they're reflections of the mind itself, mirrors of one's inner world. Imagine having a guide who helps you recognize this, keeping you calm, centered, and aware through the most intense experiences imaginable. The Bardo Thodol isn't just a script read at the bedside. It's a roadmap for recognizing the illusions that arise in transition. It's an instruction manual for seeing beyond these illusions and realizing the true nature of your consciousness. As the clear light of awareness shines in that first Bardo, your guide gently encourages you to merge with it, to see it as your very essence. Imagine the impact of having such guidance steering you toward liberation rather than yet another cycle of rebirth. This teaching suggests that death isn't merely an end, it's an unparalleled opportunity for enlightenment. What about the role of the guide in all this? Think of them as a trusted navigator helping you steer through uncharted waters. This guide, well versed in the teachings of the Bardos, becomes an anchor, reminding you of the wisdom you cultivated in life. They're there to ground you amidst overwhelming visions, gently redirecting your focus toward the clear light, pure awareness beyond all illusion. This is one of the deepest expressions of compassion in Tibetan culture. Someone walking beside you, bridging worlds, offering guidance as you stand at the edge of the unknown. The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just a text, it's a companion, offering guidance as the boundaries between life and death dissolve. But you may wonder, can these ancient teachings apply to my life in the modern world? The transformative truth is that understanding the mysteries of death isn't reserved for Tibetan monks. Anyone can benefit from the lessons of the Bardo Thodol by living with greater intention, practicing mindfulness, and viewing life as preparation for this final journey. What if, instead of avoiding thoughts of death, you embraced it as a teacher? Imagine living each day with the knowledge that you're ready for that moment when everything changes, confident in your ability to face it. Whatever comes next, face it with clarity and courage. As we delve further into the teachings of the Bardo Thodol, let this ancient wisdom remind us that life and death are intertwined. By learning to die consciously, we learn to live with an open heart and fuller awareness. So ask yourself, how would your life change if each day was preparation for the ultimate journey? How might you live if you knew you were ready to meet death? Not with fear, but with understanding, acceptance, and profound inner peace. What if embracing death could unlock a life filled with deeper purpose, clarity, and even joy? Imagine living each day with the awareness that each breath might be your last. How might that shift your choices, reshape your relationships, and transform your view of the world? The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just a guide for the dying, it's a radical roadmap for living with true freedom and presence. Imagine for a moment that an ancient Tibetan text, over 1,000 years old, might hold the key to some of modern science's most pressing questions. What is consciousness? Can the mind truly transcend death? And if so, what might that mean for how we live today? This isn't some mystical fantasy. It's a reality that draws scientists, psychologists, and philosophers to study the Tibetan Book of the Dead with increasing intensity. In a world once reserved for microscopes and lab results, the insights of the Tibetan Book of the Dead offer something truly revolutionary. What if this ancient wisdom was right all along? What if consciousness truly can transcend the physical body? Imagine the implications, not just for death, but for life itself. We're only beginning to scratch the surface, but one thing is clear. The more we explore these death states, the more we realize they're not solely about dying. They're about accessing deeper layers of our own awareness here and now. Imagine living with a profound understanding that death isn't an end, but a transformative journey into the deepest realms of the mind. As we contemplate these connections, we find ourselves on the frontier of human understanding, where ancient spiritual traditions and modern science are converging to reveal the mysteries of consciousness. The Tibetan Book of the Dead invites us to view our lives, our minds, and our ultimate journey in an entirely new light. Are you ready to explore what happens when ancient wisdom meets cutting-edge science? because what we discover could change everything we thought we knew about life, death, and the very nature of reality. Consider this profound revelation. Far from being the end, death is our greatest teacher in the art of living. Through the wisdom of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we've uncovered timeless truths that cross cultural and religious boundaries. This ancient text challenges us to face our own mortality, not with fear, but with courage and curiosity. Imagine living each day as if it were your last, with the awareness that every moment is precious and fleeting. How would this change your priorities? How might it transform your relationships? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. As Charles Horton Cooley wisely observed, the whole thing is based on another way of looking at the psychological picture of ourselves. This perspective offers a radical shift in how we view both life and death. By embracing the teachings of the Bardos, we can navigate life's transitions with greater ease and clarity, recognizing each change as a mini death and rebirth. Pause. This journey into the unknown is just the beginning. If you want to keep exploring these mysteries with us, type yes in the comments. Let us know what hidden truths you'd like to uncover next. And remember, your thoughts shape the journey here. You're not just a viewer, you're part of the PJ Bible TV family. Together, let's unlock the mysteries that truly matter. Keep shining your light.